Vikings training camp is right around the corner. Players are reporting, and the first day of camp that fans can attend is the 26th. And to get us ready for Vikings training camp, we're going to have another Beat Writers Roundtable. We've got the Pioneer Press's Dane Mizutani to my left, Emily Leiker from the Star Tribune, and Alec Lewis from The Athletic. You guys, we kind of joked that, like, okay, our lives are over now. We are just dedicated to football season. Did you have good off seasons? How are you feeling?
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was good to get away for a little bit. It was a busy off season, but no, I think this is going to be as exciting of a training camp probably that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, like
I'm excited.
Where's your excitement level?
I think 10.
10?
Yeah.
It's
the JJ McCarthy era. We were starting it off.
Yeah.
We don't have any quarterback competition, and we're rolling here. So how could it not be a 10?
That's right. And this will be your first one, Emily,
yeah,
right?
it is my first training camp,
exciting.
so I'm kind of excited to get to start from the beginning of the season and not drop in November when things are super crazy.
I just feel like catch up all the
Yes.
time. That's awesome. Well, Dane, you kind of brought it up, so I feel like the number one topic this offseason, and obviously going into training camp, JJ McCarthy, quarterback of the future, is now. What are you anticipating the most, being able to see him in action?
I'm just excited to see how he handles everything. I mean, we saw him in OTAs and mandatory minicamp. He exudes the confidence of a franchise quarterback. But let's see when it gets dialed up. Let's see when there's fans in the stands recording every single pass he takes and posting it on social media immediately. Let's see how he handles kind of the pressure getting dialed up. I'm excited to see how he kind of responds to that. I mean, everything we know about the kid to this point is that he's been built for this. I think he said when he was first drafted that he edited his life from the time he was 5 years old to be a quarterback in the NFL. And you can tell that, but now he will be the QB1 moving forward. So I'm just excited to see how he handles everything that's involved with that.
Yeah, kind of similarly, I think, but from an on-field perspective, the pressure's going up because he's going to have to get used to the speed of the game at the NFL level, which is definitely different than college, and he hasn't really seen a lot of that. And we heard so much about how he grew on the mental side of things throughout being injured, sitting in those like red pen meetings that Kevin O'Connell talks about and all of that. And so now it's, okay, does that all translate when defenders bearing down at him at 27 miles per hour or whatever they run at? I don't know. But seeing how that translates and if he can keep all of those mental things clear as he's in a game situation, I think will be really interesting.
Yeah, no, we all edited our lives to be right here, just like you did,
so true,
obviously. Right? I mean, the thing for me, and you guys too, I'm sure, have spent all offseason talking to people around him, people have worked with him, coaches he's been around, trainers, and the thing that blows you away when you talk to people about him is how much conviction they have in what he's capable of and what he does for the people around him. So I think, like, for me, it's how infectious is he to the people, the people handing him water on the sidelines, the energy at practice, like those minor moments that we see standing out there under the sun getting sunburned every day. I'm really looking forward to. And it really is just fascinating to listen to people talk about him. I'm like, man, I wish like one person would talk about me the way they probably talk about this guy. It's
Maybe your parents do.
Yeah, hopefully that would be the hope. But it should be, I mean, like both of them said it. It's going to be a blast to just see it every day.
Yeah, the keys for the offense are in his hands. It's going to be fun to watch. Now, I go into these things, I come up with my topics and whatnot, and I'm like, okay, what's the top storyline of camp? I go, okay, I got to revise that a little bit because I can't make it the top storyline of camp. I got to make it the top non-QB storyline of camp. And funny enough, all three of you guys said the same thing.
Oh.
So Emily, I will let you start with this one. Everyone is really interested in that cornerback position battle. So what are your thoughts on that position heading into camp?
Yeah, really similar if we're talking too fast here. So cornerback, not quarterback.
I know, did you hear me like enunciate?
Yeah. But obviously the Vikings re-signed Byron Murphy, which was one of the bigger moves of this offseason. Who's going to be there next to him? Who's going to drop in when they need a third cornerback and he goes into the slot? I know they're very high on Isaiah Rodgers, and we saw a lot of Isaiah Rodgers during OTAs and minicamp, and so he seems to be in the number 2, but then you open up to number 3, and is it Jeff Okudah, who's a veteran and obviously has a lot of experience? Is it Mekhi Blackmon returning from injury, who I personally haven't seen a lot of yet, but have heard a lot of good things about and am intrigued to see more of? And then you got other guys like Dwight McLeathern and stuff. So among the couple position battles that they're there are at camp this year, like that one feels the most interesting and the one that will have the most kind of like on-field ramifications, I think.
Yeah, what made you pick corner?
No, I thought Emily hit the nail on the head there, so I'm just going to regurgitate. No, I really think, for me, it's a question about the depth in the room. Like Byron Murphy Jr., Emily said it. I mean, you almost forget last year, you'd walk in the locker room week 15, and he's got all of his interception balls tucked in like the locker at the top. You're like, how many does this guy have? 6, 8, 5? I don't know what's going on. I mean, Emily said it was a very big priority for them to bring him back. They made that happen. Before free agency. And then Isaiah Rodgers, the player Brian Flores said he's had his eye on since he played college at UMass. You go and watch the film, you look at his background. Isaiah Rodgers is a very talented player, but you get to the depth of that room, what happens if there's an injury? Jeff Okudah, everybody here has raved about what they've seen from him, but if somebody goes down, what ends up happening? Can Mekhi Blackmon be that guy? Is Dwight McGlothern, Zamiah Vaughn, certain guys down the roster, really deep cut? Can they potentially fill that void? And that's a question that will be very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'm just excited that we're going to get to see this string kind of play out, because I think in the spring we heard names like Jalen Ramsey, we heard Jair Alexander. I think the fact that the Vikings didn't kick the tires on either of those guys kind of indicates they want to see Isaiah Rodgers, Jeff Okudah, Zamiah Vaughn, an undrafted guy out of Utah who I know Alec likes. But I think when you kind of zoom out and look at the fact that they said we're content with the room we have and we want to see them kind of duke it out themselves. Yeah. That's something that's easy to kind of get excited about every day when we get to watch it happen. So it will be Byron Murphy leading that room, and we'll see who's stepping up behind him.
How are you guys going to split your time between the defense side and the offensive side of the fields now that you've got your eyes on those two hot battles going on? Okay, well, not battles, but
Well, that's always
that's crazy.
That's always the challenge. Is unless you have much better vision than I do, it's very difficult to see everything out there. So you really every day, and you guys may have different strategies. It's like you really have to pick one thing, zero in on it. But the thing about this roster right now is it is so deep at so many spots. Whether it's the tight end competition, Gavin Bartholomew, Ben Urasek, whether it's defensive tackle and you get to your Jalen Redmonds and your Levi Drake Rodriguez, like this is a very deep roster with a lot of intriguing possibilities. So my glasses will be worn out.
Wide receiver too is deep, and at least with that one, wide receiver, cornerback, we can watch both at once.
There you go.
Check things off quickly.
All right, I'm looking forward to that. Well, we'll close this one out with our final topic, and it's going to be who do you think, and this kind of plays into what you just said about the depth on the roster, but who do you think will take the biggest leap this season? And Dane, I'll start with you.
Well, I'm glad I get to go first, because I think a lot of people are probably thinking this guy, Dallas Turner.
No one. You guys are all different on this.
Wow, perfect.
You guys are all different.
I had a deep cut if we needed one, but Dallas Turner, I think he's going to take a huge leap forward. You listen to the way Brian Flores talked about him in the spring. I think the question was about how Dallas Turner learned behind Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel, and Brian Flores said, I'm going to correct you there. He wasn't necessarily learning behind, he was a part of that start. He said, I look at it like we had 3 starters last year. Snap count doesn't really indicate that, but I think he grew a lot as a rookie, so I'm excited to see where he takes it in year 2. I think there were a lot of things that he had to learn. Coming in, 21-year-old kid, all of a sudden you live in Minneapolis alone. And I think learning from Jonathan Grenard, learning from Andrew Van Ginkel, it's hard to get those guys off the field. It's hard to take those guys off the field. So the snap counts do make sense, but I think he has a ramp way from last year, and I think wherever he takes it could help this defense kind of level up.
That's going to be exciting to watch. Emily, what about you? Year 2.
Dane, I did, to your credit, think of Dallas Turner, and then I was like, probably going to be a popular answer. I went with Theo Jackson, obviously stepping into that third safety role. I think back to the game in Seattle last year where he was filling in for Harrison Smith, had that game-sealing interception. The locker room went pretty crazy for him. After that, there's a lot of celebration. And so just seeing him step into that role, I think will be really interesting, filling in for Cam Bynum, working alongside Josh Metellus and Harrison Smith now. Obviously, the Vikings feel highly of him. He was one of the first guys they got contract extension done with in the spring, and so he obviously is a little bit more experienced than a guy like Dallas and maybe has a little bit more under his belt, but this is a big step up for him still.
Awesome. All right, close us out here, Alec.
Yeah, I cheated on my answer, and I didn't pick a specific player, but for me, it's the run game in its entirety. It's the combination of the offensive line generating a push, the run schemes being, dialed in from the coaching staff, and then the running backs in particular. I mean, I in some ways, Aaron Jones last year maybe didn't get enough credit for running for 1,000 plus, catching 50 passes, but then you add Jordan Mason, who succeeded with the San Francisco 49ers and is a big body as we've seen out there this spring. So that unit as a whole, that phase of this team as a whole, taking another step would just be massive for this team to accomplish what they want to accomplish this year, I think.
Yeah, Aaron Jones was in the building yesterday. I was talking to him about that exactly. He said, I'm so excited. Nothing against the offensive line from last year, but these guys are all pro. They're huge. And he says it's going to be great. Like Ryan Kelly at center is going to be such a great tool for JJ McCarthy, but I get to run behind them too. So he's equally just excited to see what this run game can take it to this next season. And we're hoping that you guys make it out to training camp this year, because obviously there's going to be tons of opportunities for the fans to be out there. We have a QR code on the screen right now that'll take you straight to Vikings.com/training camp, where you can see all of the open dates for fans to check out the 2025 Minnesota Vikings. And then I'm just going to let you guys close it out with where people can find your work before we get going. So Dane, where can they find you?
Pioneer Press, please subscribe.
And do you do X? Is that your thing?
Yeah, just Dane Mizutani. You can look it up. I won't spell it for you on screen. But yes, please subscribe to the Pioneer Press. We could use you.
StarTribune.com, also local news. You can get subscriptions to both. And then on X, I'm just at Leiker.
Please support these two and local news. Right for the Athletic. You can find it on the internet thing. And then have a podcast, The Alec Lewis Show. Please support that everywhere you get your podcast. Thought we needed another one. There weren't enough. So.
There's just not enough out there.
Right.
Not at all. Well, we thank you guys so much for taking the time pre-camp to be out here to break all of this down with us, and looking forward to a great 2025.